Manila, the capital of the Philippines, has been through a lot. Controlled at various times by the Islamists, British, Spanish, the Americans, and the Japanese, it must have been hard to keep things straight. Later, the city was almost totally leveled during the fierce World War II battles, as the US and Japanese forces struggled for control of the islands. Now it's not only built back up, it has experienced hypergrowth, becoming one of Asia's most densely populated cities. But is it overbaked? A place you just pass through on your arrival and your departure from the country. Maybe I could find some road less traveled material if I embarked on a long walk through its various neighborhoods. So I laced up and I hit the pavement. I start my walkabout right outside the hotel. The area is Makati, where a high concentration of foreigners flock. Many foreigners with specific needs. And as I pass down the streets, it's not too hard to guess what those may be.
Better than gold massage?
Yeah, gold massage.
One thing that is not in short supply on this street are massages, from what I've gathered, from my limited intel. Kind of looks like that sort of neighborhood.
You can't go more than a few steps in this neighborhood without getting accosted. If it ain't a massage, it's a gold watch, a box of Viagra, or simply a handout.
Every city has its vibe, every neighborhood has its vibe. Works for some people, doesn't work for others. I'm kind of really non-judgmental with that. As long as everybody's doing their thing and not harming anybody, then I say live and let live.
Although it's quite the spectacle, it's really not my scene. So I head back to the hotel and plan to shift gears in the morning. There is a spot which should prove drastically different.
What a contrast, huh? Walking along this serene stretch of old fortress wall in the colonial capital of Spanish Philippines, Intramuros.
From inside these heavily fortified walls, the Spanish ran the Philippines and their East Indies Empire for over 3 centuries. Until American warships sank 2 of their armadas in Cuba and Manila Bay, essentially crumbling the aging empire and marking Spain's curtain call in the Philippine Islands. Remember the Maine? Intramuros makes for a pleasant place for a stroll. Spacious, breezy, quaint. Not adjectives commonly associated with Manila. But it's not sterile like a museum. It doesn't take much exploring to see the Filipinos and their energy taking over what was probably once a fairly officious and orderly neighborhood. This may have once been Spain, but it's definitely Southeast Asia now. And as I walk out of Intramuros, I think that's just fine with me. The Philippines isn't really known for having the best cuisine. You could almost say it's the England of Asia when it comes to dining.
And they really don't have any archaeological wonders like the Taj Mahal or Angkor Wat. But what they lack in these categories, they make up for with warm, friendly people. What's up, guys? 2 more? Okay.
So I'll continue my tour with this in mind. Focus on the people. And I have an idea where I can find a bunch of them. Tondo is what you might call a slum. As soon as I drop into the neighborhood, I feel a drastic change in energy. The density of humanity surrounding me on every side and in every angle. If I'm not welcome here, I'm in big trouble. As I walked over the bridge to get here, they literally closed a gate behind me. The camera crew is on the other side. Did I just walk into a giant trap? Wallet in my pocket, money belt around my waist? The people quickly surround me. Where am I from? Why am I here? But the smiles on their faces are sincere. My anxiety dissipates. I've been around enough to feel danger, and I don't feel it here.
You know, a lot of Filipinos told me look out for this neighborhood, but I got hustled a lot more in Makati, and the vibe here is great. Might be poor, but they've got a vibrant neighborhood.
A local lady takes it upon herself to show me around. She's evidently proud of her neighborhood, and I'm appreciative of the welcome.
All this is you?
Yeah, my father.
Your father has all this. Do you rent anything, or it's just for the family?
Family compound.
Family compound. You got the Virgin Mary,
Yeah.
and then Colt 45 with a skull. Yeah, it's like a contrast. It's a nice contrast.
Little kids peep out of windows with bright smiles, old folks look up from their work, and occasionally a baby seems to be committing suicide.
Be careful with the gun.
This is probably the most dangerous thing I saw in Tondo.
What's impressive is how industrious the people here seem to be. Every available space is utilized, things are recycled. The lady over here is cooking a big vat of beef stew, and the lard that's left over is being used for candles. I mean, things your average person wouldn't consider. I suppose out of necessity, they become rather inventive. And wow, it may look a little chaotic, but it's vibrant. It's full of good energy.
This feels like the kind of neighborhood where a traveler could lose themselves for a while. Rent a small flat and just become part of the community. Maybe to find the soul of the Filipinos, maybe to find themselves. Something like Gregory David Roberts' alleged experience in Shantaram's Dharavi. Dharavi, as you may have seen in a previous episode, is quickly progressing. Tondo feels like she's still waiting to find her calling. But until then, she has her community. For now, I must ramble on. While Manila's disenfranchised neighborhoods may not be creating a lot of opportunity, there are some venues by which people have found their way out and up the economic ladder. The most famous example is at my next destination.